Alright, well, I did a video a while ago called Making Perfect Survival Rice. And in that video, I showed you how to utilize your long-term storage rice. That was the reason for me making the video. A lot of people buy the big bags of rice, but don't really know how to cook rice properly, coming from a culinary standard, not necessarily a survival standard. In that video, we actually poured off some of the starch that had leached out of the rice. Obviously, in a survival situation, you wouldn't do that. So for all the people that felt to chime in, even though I said it in the video, you know, just be your own man and don't worry about what other people are doing. But if you're watching this video, you enjoy my videos, and today we're going to make horchata. And it cracked me up. A while ago, I tried to find a recipe online, and it's horrible. YouTube has nothing but 16-year-old kids making horchata for their Spanish class, and they're doing it completely wrong. The other half on YouTube are guys buying like horchata just mixed with milk. So it's a little crazy. Traditional horchata is just going to be rice water, essentially, leaching the proteins and the starches out of the rice. A little bit of sugar, typically using a cinnamon stick, but in a survival situation I traded all my cinnamon sticks for ammo. So we're using ground cinnamon today, and usually has almonds in there. It's best to soak this stuff overnight. I'm going to modify a little bit, like you'll see in a lot of places. Typically, horchata that you'll find in restaurants and stuff, they will use some sort of milk or cream or dairy product. It really doesn't have that milky consistency that most Americans are familiar with. So if you have traditional horchata, there isn't usually any milk or dairy product in it. So with that out of the way, it won't be a completely traditional horchata. It is best to soak it overnight, as I was saying. What we're going to do today is, in the survival situation, all I have is this coffee can, 1 cup long grain white rice. Here's where I'm going to differ a little bit. A lot of people put the sugar and the cinnamon in last. I'm going to put the cinnamon in last. I've got a 1/2 cup sugar. We're just sort of winging it. You can basically do it to taste, but I'm going to use warm water to help dissolve the sugars. This is going to be sitting for over three hours minimum. If you want to sit it overnight, that would be preferred. If you are using cinnamon sticks, go ahead and put them in there. As they sit overnight, they'll actually get softer, and you can break them up later, and then we're going to be blending it. To utilize some of the Thrive stuff, we might be putting some milk in there. We'll do some tasting afterwards to see if it's to our liking. Because we're on a off-grid survival situation, I don't have any power, so we're going to be utilizing my power supply and a small hand blender, which uses a whole lot less power than a traditional blender. And I will grab the water and be back. Alright, I'm back with the water. Took me a while, since we're in a raw situation. I don't have any power whatsoever. I don't have any cooking fuel or nothing. I'm completely out. So I had to go to the community fire and heat up some water, and I pulled off 2 quarts. Keeping it here in my Olympic thermos mug, which is over 50 years old, and you can see the seal inside the vacuum is not really there anymore. But man, fancy lid. So in here from the community fire, I have pulled 2 quarts of hot water. We're going to give that a little stir, and what I've done is cut a small slit in the lid so that I don't make an absolute mess while I try to do this. Sure, I'm on video here. We're going to plug this little guy into here, and basically going to process this until the rice is broken down a little bit. Now, we're just going to let this set. I'm actually going to put it in the fridge because I'll probably leave this overnight. But if we have time, it's 6 o'clock right now. I'll come back at 9 and we'll strain this off, add some cinnamon, and see how she goes. Alright, we're back. It is 9:04. Let's give this guy a stir. Now I'm not going to measure out the cinnamon or anything. The disadvantage of having the cinnamon sticks is you can't really change the level of cinnamon. It's already in there. With the ground cinnamon, doing it afterwards, you get just as much flavor and are able to adjust that a little bit. I mentioned a lot of recipes, especially the original Mexican recipes, do use almonds in there as well. And so a lot of people will throw in some almond extract. You can use a little vanilla extract as well. Straining it's going to get the rice, little pieces. A lot of recipes will tell you can see it's kind of like a pudding. Basically, when you chop it up, you get like a sand, like a rough sand texture. Now, if you had cinnamon sticks, you're also going to have that in there. Some people use cheesecloth. Really, as long as you have a fine strainer, it should be pretty close and should work for you. And we're just going to dash in some cinnamon. Make sure you can see all this. Put the cinnamon thing off there. I'd say about a half tablespoon would be good. It's not a cinnamon drink, but you want a little cinnamon-esque in there. And the longer the cinnamon sits in there, it'll get a little stronger as well. Maybe a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And like I said, if you really want that almond flavor, you can add a little almond extract in there. And once it's all mixed up, I'm going to move it to a pitcher and we'll grab a glass. Alright, now I didn't add any more sugar. I think the sweetness is fine. I don't mind. Alright, well, the only pitcher I had was a metal pitcher, and I don't really like milk and metal. So we're going to use this little guy. Typically served over ice. I don't like to water down my stuff, so I've got these little frozen little packets that are reusable as my ice cube, and a beer pint glass. The sweetness was good. I didn't add any of the powdered milk, although you could. This is what horchata should taste like. I don't really think you should add any cream, but for a lot of you well, Americans, typical, that aren't used to the the non-creaminess of the rice milk, you may want to add some of the milk or a little bit of cream or something like that. But cheers.